Hello everyone and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today's replay is from Etivaz and he is in the Harugumo, Tier 10 Japanese destroyer. He is on the map Tears of the Desert in an epicenter game. Well, it's obviously Tier 10, there are a few T8s around, there is no carrier which is good, there is only a Seattle for radar which is also very good. And yeah, 4 destroyers. So here in the beginning he ventured through the center and he's the only friendly destroyer who has done so. There is also a Seattle coming this way which is... and there's the radar. So thankfully he should be able to reverse here. He is launching some torps against the core first. And he's deploying smoke. But I mean he is still radared, so... that's not gonna work, but I mean the smoke lasts longer than the radar and so he will be immediately stealthed once the radar is gone. So I guess there is some advantage to having smoke already here. Because I mean if you shoot, you no longer see the radar symbol, you just see that you're regularly detected, so you're never exactly sure when the radar runs out. So I guess smoking here and just starting to shoot was a decent choice. He wasn't really under much pressure. And right now he does what Harugumo does best. He's just raining death and destruction upon the core first. In tiny pieces. He's also constantly switching between his zoomed in state and looking around. You never wanna lose vision around you. Otherwise, there might be some nasty surprises. You also always want to look at the minimap and not get too much tunnel vision when you're focusing down a target. Now, when we look at the team, we have some forces here. Well, I don't know, let's call it the south. Or let's just say the right flank, and we have some here on the left flank. So, nice spread from the friendly team. They are already down a few ships. Well, one ship, I guess. So, not too bad. Now the friendlies won't be able to capture the center anytime soon, I suppose, because there are enemies in here. There is a tier pits pushing in. Now if that tier pits just keeps straight ahead and runs into torps here, that would be amazing. So he's waiting, he only has one launcher ready. Also, I mean his ship only has one launcher, but he doesn't have a reload booster ready to get a second salvo off. So... Tirpitz isn't even paying attention, he's not looking this way with his guns, he's sailing in a straight line. And that's a devastating strike. Meanwhile, unfortunately, some friendly ships have gone down as well. So here in the south side, I guess it's not looking too bad. Also, he is currently spotted, unfortunately, and a bit under fire, but he should be able to disengage without a problem. Has to be careful with the Seattle. The Seattle is currently outside of radar range, but it's close. If the Seattle would push in here a little bit further, it might be problematic. Now down here in the south, as I was saying, the friendlies seem to be doing quite well. The Sao is... well, I mean, the Sao might just be kiting away and farming someone. And... no idea where the Asashu is, probably trying to torpedo the battleships. But more importantly, they have discovered an enemy destroyer in the center here. I'm not actually sure who spotted this guy, but they are currently busy shooting him, and hopefully he will take a bit of damage before he can disappear. Now we have a wounded Seattle there, and Etivaz immediately is trying to join in on the fun. Because the Seattle is a dangerous target and he saw an opportunity to help take her down. That worked marvelously. Now we have a tier pits here in the north who is a little bit out of friends, but he has quite a bit of cover with those islands. So that could work. I think currently the Edinburgh probably has shots at his broadside, which is not the best thing, but if he can shoot the Edinburgh in return, the Edinburgh might not be so well off. Now, meanwhile, Etivaz here has found a new target, he has deployed his smoke, and now it's just pew-pew timing it. As a Harugumo, your guns are a very powerful tool and you wanna find some opportunities to use them. Now thankfully he has plenty of spotting here from friendlies. Unfortunately, I guess the Shobart is using this smoke of, I suppose, the enemy destroyer here to disappear. There is an Amagi, so, you know, just shoot something else, I guess. Now on the bright side, we have quite a few friendly ships here in the center. Of course, they have to be very careful that they aren't getting surrounded and crossfired. We still have the Tirpitz here on the side, who hopefully will manage to take out the Ember or something. There is a Shimakaze here though, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Shimakaze is hunting this Tirpitz. On the other hand, the Shimakaze could just come here behind and basically torpedo in the center. Like, there are so many friendly ships here that the Shimakaze would have a high chance of hitting something. And, well, we also have the Asashio, who probably hunting some battleships. Question, as always, is from where. And it's not like Etivaz can do anything about it. He isn't really a ship that's that great at hunting down destroyers, because he isn't the fastest one and he is easily spotted. So they'll have time to react and run away. And well, we definitely have, well, we had a smoke up here and then shots coming from there, so I suppose 2 destroyers here on the right side currently. Now ship-wise it's not looking too bad, and the friendlies are even capturing the center currently. There are also torpedoes coming from the north, so I'm pretty unsure where the enemy destroyers currently are. I mean, we saw shells not too long coming from over there. It's possible that the smoke was from the same destroyer who moved on. Which would... oh, well, I guess we know that the Asashio is over there. Now he's spotting those torps. That's actually a stroke of luck, because it means the enemy battleships will have vision of those torps and will have some chance to do something. Now those torps are still pretty fast, and if you're sitting still, and even though the torps are spotted here, there is no guarantee that the Yamato can react in time, but at least he has some chance to do something. Usually when an Asashio torpedoes you, you just realize it's the moment they hit. Now the friendlies have found the Shimakaze. And once again I wonder who is actually doing the spotting here. Is he so close to the Alabama? Maybe. Or did he just show himself by shooting his guns? Be that as it may, obviously Etivaz is going to engage a juicy target like that. Unfortunately the enemy is deploying some smoke. Now he's achieved the Confederate here, and he could try to charge the Shimakaze or something, but there is a much better target just around the corner in Asashio. I mean, an Asashio is basically defenseless in this situation. He can't torpedo a destroyer. And while the Asashio's guns are quite okay, they are nothing against the Harugumos. That is one dead Asashio. Now the friendlies are actually 1 ship ahead, although those torps might just eat the Yamato. Or are they already past? Did the Yamato already dodge? I guess that would be good. So, we still have the Shima back there, so he's, Etivaz is launching some torps this way. You never know, I mean, maybe a Shima sails into it. It might seem logical that the Shima would come this way. We also have a Yugumo pretty close. It's possible that the Yugumo is trying to get in there and engage the Shima. The Yugumo is... oh, nice. So the Yugumo just succeeded there. So that's amazing. Yugumo's still pretty healthy. And... well, Alabama is... already a bit... how should we put it? Chip's already a bit used. Let's put it like this. Now, I'm not sure how the enemy Shobart is, but the friendlies, I mean, they have the cap advantage, they have the ship advantage, so it's looking pretty amazing. Now we know that the enemy is in the middle ring here, because the friendlies are generating points, so he can't be in the center, and they can't capture this middle ring. So the enemy has to be in the middle ring. We don't know where though. So, well, I guess considering their torps, we have a fairly good guess where he might be. Now it looks like the Alabama and the Harugumo might just be going in. The Shobart is spotted and not very healthy. The Alabama has to be careful that he isn't showing too much broadside, and it looks like he's angling against the Shobart. Has to be careful with the position of the enemy destroyer that he isn't getting torpedoed here. So let's hope that the Alabama takes caution with varying his course and speed. And let's hope that he isn't going full broadside towards the Shobart. Now meanwhile the Harugumo is hunting the destroyer. I'm not sure how healthy the destroyer was. That's a good idea for the Harugumo or not. Meanwhile Etivaz is just trying to burn down the Shobart. He still has a smoke ready. He could deploy that here if he felt it necessary, but I guess currently he thinks it's okay. So, enemy destroyer took care of the battleship, and now he's engaging the Harugumo. The Harugumo is obviously no gunboat. So, that Harugumo might be in a world of hurt. If the Harugumo can't land torps, it's not looking extremely good. Yeah. So on the bright side, the Krakens unleashed the battleships dealt with, but there is still one Jutland, or I don't actually know how to pronounce the enemy destroyer's name. But there is still one Jutland left, it looks like. Or is it Jutland, or, well, who knows. Now, the friendlies still have the points advantage, but the enemy is currently capping, and the enemy will soon enter the middle circle and he will be capping everything. Now, it doesn't matter if he actually manages to cap, because Etivaz can just block the points generation by sitting in the center himself. There is 5 minutes left. I mean, he can't abandon all of those caps for 5 minutes. The friendly lead won't be enough for that. But what he can do is just sit in the middle, like... Also, I mean, there is some discussion here in the chat, so basically Etivaz is asking his team exactly what the concealment of the enemy destroyer is, and people are answering, so that's always nice. If you feel like there is some information about an enemy that you don't know, might ask your team, and sometimes there are nice people in team who actually answer. Now, concealment isn't that big of a deal in a one-on-one fight, because he has the gun power, right? And the enemy has to show himself when he shoots. So while the enemy could keep him spotted, or could try to hunt him down, I mean, he will win a gunfight. And there is the enemy. So basically, I'm not sure what the enemy destroyer will do here. Gunfight is not in his best interest, although when it comes to torpedoes, the Harugumo is not very agile, so dodging torps might be a problem. So if the enemy can force that... And then there is the obvious fact that the enemy has Hydro, right? But the Hydro only detects ships in 3 kilometers, I think. So he's going so close. Is the possibility that the enemy will use Hydro to spot him. But you see 3 kilometers and you can proximity spot at 2 kilometers, so there is only a 1 kilometer gap where the enemy could abuse this. And I don't think he wants to be 2 kilometers away from a Harugumo, necessarily. Like, the damage output of those guns is just insane. And on close ranges, those guns will all hit. Like, those guns have, I think, pretty good initial velocity for the shells, but the drop-off is pretty strong, so basically at longer ranges those guns suck at hitting stuff, but at close ranges they are awesome. Now Etivaz here is in no hurry. As I've stated, all he needs to do is just sit here and win. It's 2.5 minutes. I mean, at some point he could actually just abandon this and let the enemy have some points, because they will need some time to catch up. I'm not sure how soon he could leave. I mean, he could also try to just be like in the middle ring. That would give him more distance to the enemy, and if the enemy only has one cap generating points, it might be fine. But he's just sitting here. He's feeling comfortable. As I said, he's feeling like he is going to win a gunfight, which he should. So the ball is in the enemy's corner. Now it's possible that the enemy destroyer is waiting for something like a consumable to come back around. Maybe he had Hydra on cooldown, maybe he's just waiting until that's refreshed, until he charges in. Like, it should be obvious for the enemy destroyer that he has to take down Etivaz for the win. He could... Well, I guess he has two options, the enemy destroyer. He could try for the long-range gunfight, assuming that he can dodge Harugumo shells easier at long range. Or he could just try to charge in and hope that he can maybe seal the deal with torps. Not sure what the best course of action is, but the enemy has to decide something, because it's just only 1 minute. And Etivaz is actually moving out here. I mean, at this point I think he could just sail into the sunset and take a victory here. But he's found himself an enemy destroyer. He's deploying his smoke here. He's probably figuring, you know what, why risk it? Now he could just use the smoke to, I guess, disappear City. There's only 40 seconds left. But I guess he decides that sitting in his smoke is just a torpedo magnet, and look at that, there were even torpedoes coming, just not into the smoke. So ultimately I guess he figured, you know what, let's just take a 6th kill. And there is the win. And here we are with the results. Etivaz earned himself 2,460 base experience, and quite nicely done by him. He earned himself a Confederate, a Devastating Strike, a Kraken, and a high caliber, scoring 193,000 points of damage, sinking 6 enemy ships, and yeah, he had to carry this one a bit. It was a close one, but he prevailed. So I hope you enjoyed watching it, and I'll see you guys next time.